Since the last papal reforms, several dash have been to make the Western calendar more useful. Several arguments, essays, proposals, assumptions. Your proposals or arguments have been a dash, have been offered. So it should be proposals. Several proposals have been offered to make the Western calendar more useful or regular, useful or when there is or something similar. Very few reforms such as there are the different decimal French Republican and Soviet calendars that gained official dash, official acceptance. Right. A mini helicopter modeled on flying tree seeds could soon be flying overhead. Ivan Yalrik and colleagues at the University of Maryland in College Park turned to the biological world for inspiration to build a scaled down helicopter. So far, what I've read is talking about building a helicopter, but that is a scaled down, smaller in size. They'll be taking inspiration from the seeds which could fly. So, scaled down helicopter that could mimic means copy the properties of full size aircraft. That will copy the properties of aircraft which is in full size. The complex dash of full size helicopter gets less efficient. If the helicopter is of full size, it gets less efficient. It is not as productive. The complex gauge imagination overhaul, complex design. Dash that standard mini helicopters expend most of their power simply fighting to stay stable in the air. Proving, denying, objecting, and denying will go out, proving and meaning. But here they're not proving anything, they are giving us reason, which means meaning. That standard mini helicopters expend most of their power simply fighting. The researchers realized that a simpler aircraft designed to stay stable passively would use much less power and reduce manufacturing costs to boot. It turns out that the nature had beaten them to it. The seeds of trees such as the maple have a single blade structure. So they are trying to cut down the size of the helicopter, taking inspiration from nature. The seeds which could fly, seeds of maple, they have a single blade structure that dash them to fly far away, that pushes, hampers, allows, charges, that allows them to fly far away and drift safely to the ground. These seeds, known as samaras, need no engine to dash through the air. They need no engine to spin, fluctuate, no bob or drift. It can be between spin or drift. We'll go for spin, which means to move very fast, thanks to process called auto rotation. Giant turtle made from discarded plastic trash will greet visitors to the British Science Festival this week. They are talking about making a turtle from discarded means used plastic. Trash is waste. Plastic containers, bottles, and cups were collected locally in Hull, where the event is taking place at the city's university. Standing 3.5-meter tall, the air art installation dash commissioned by the University of Hull have commissioned being was commissioned by the University of Hull with the aim of raising awareness of plastic waste. Professor Dan Parsons, director of the University Energy and Environment Institute, said marine pollution is a mounting global challenge, which is get only already otherwise, which is only having no, which is already having, pehle se hi, which is having. Devastating means dangerous. We have a duty to protect these fragile environments and the marine life and ecosystems dash, which we call home. The university has commissioned this installation as a physical dash of what is ending up in the oceans. Physical recognition, reinforcement, receipt, or reminder. Physical reminder. Physical is something which can be seen, a reminder which gives us a reminder, which reminds us that something is to be done. While workers worry about whether robots will take their jobs, teachers are wondering how to use education to insulate the next generation from such a fate. This has worked before when the last wave of automation swept the developed world at the start of the 20th century. Policymakers decided education was the answer. If machines were going to substitute for brawn, the reason more people would need to use their brains. The US invested a dash in education stingingly, expensively, inadvertently, or heavily. Invested heavily with good results. This is collocation. Workers reap the benefits through better jobs and higher wages. Economist Andrew McPhee and Eric Brano Maleficent, economist Andrew McPhee and Eric Brano Jefferson summed it up like this: the Industrial Revolution dash, a race between technology and education. And for most of the 20th century, humans won the race. The Industrial Revolution started, stalled, adapted. No, adapted means to take something, to follow something. Installed means to fit something. Stalled, no, started. Underground houses have many advantages over conventional housing. Conventional means normal. Unlike conventional homes, they can be built on surfaces and can maximize the space in small areas by going below the surface. Underground houses underground houses can be built on dash surfaces and they can maximize space in small areas. So where they can be built geometric, flat, steep or overhead. Steep means something very high and can maximize space in small areas by going below. So it is high, so we can go below the surface. In addition, the materials excavated, which means the material that is taken out from construction can be used in the building process. Underground houses have less surface area, so fewer building materials are used and dash costs are lower. When building material is lesser, so facility sustenance, maintenance cost, not heating, maintenance cost is lower because of the usage of less building material. They're also wind, fire, and earthquake resistant, proving a secure and safe environment in extreme weather. One of the greatest benefits of underground living is energy. So benefit is energy ratio, efficiency, consistency, renewal. Energy efficiency. It means we get the maximum use of energy. Productivity is higher. Earth's subsurface temperature remains stable, so underground dwellings benefit from geothermal mass and heat exchange, staying cool in the summer, warm in the winter. This saves around 80% in energy cost by dash solar design. This energy bill can be reduced to zero by incorporating intriguing means to do something secretly, initiating to start, inventing to develop some to make something new. Incorporating means to add by incorporating solar design. If they add solar design, the bill can be reduced to zero. No two siblings are the same. Siblings mean real brothers and sisters, not even dash twins, identical twins. This is a collocation. Other options go out because this is a collocation. Parents often dash about why their children are so different from one another. Inquiry about, no, it should be inquire about. Confuse, no. Puzzle, guess. Parents often puzzle about why their children are so different from one another. They will say, I dashed them up all the same. I raised them, grew them, brought them. I brought them up all the same. So don't we say, I was born and brought up here. They forget that what dash our behavior isn't what happens to us, but how we. They forget that what dash our behavior isn't what happens to us. That what leads, limits, cause, determines what determines our behavior. They forget that what dash our behavior isn't what happens to us. Determines, leads, limits, cause. What determines means what decides. Limits is to reduce. What decides? Our behavior isn't what happens to us, but how we dash what happens to us. And no two people ever see anything in exactly the same way. So, from these words, it should be how we interpret what happens to us because we don't see things in the same way. Let's check. Color preferences. Many tests have shown that in a very broad way, people in most parts of the world have similar color preferences. Blue is the most favorite, most preferred and popular hue, followed in order by red, green, purple, yellow, and orange. Full stop. After full stop, the next word is always capitalized. So see, this is only word that is capitalized. This is our answer. This basic order of color preferences dash are the responses of individuals. Therefore means result. However, talking about the contrast situation, thus is also used for result. So is used as a consequence. However, are the responses of individuals which of course vary dash and may also be very powerful. Because of the word powerful, here slightly goes out, surprisingly no, widely, which of course vary widely. Children are likely to have strong dash for some colors and aversions to others. Strong preferences means choice and aversions to others, but sometimes will not admit to them since outside they have liking, strong liking for a particular color, but will not admit because outside a dash may be influential. Outside pressures or factors, these to go out. Outside factors seems to be much more closer. Factors means reasons, may be influential, and the way that they are expressed or suppressed. Current fashions in clothes and accessories, gender stereotyping, and peer group pressure may also play a significant part. Boys, in particular, may be reluctant. Reluctant means unwilling, not ready to admit to any strong preferences for colors. Boys will not readily accept that this is my favorite color, dash than those of favorite football teams. Other than or rather than, other two options go out. Other than means except, rather than means instead. So except that those of favorite football teams.